Ladies and gentlemen, we have yet another treat from Krups. Today we're going to be watching Doxing, Cheating and Lies, the most toxic gaming community, and we are talking about the COD Zombies community, ladies and gentlemen, or rather Krups is going to take us through, so let's give it a go.
The COD Zombies high round community is the most toxic gaming community I have ever seen. From doxing, cheating, lying, harassment, and so much more, it never...
Fucking hell, man. What a fucking opening screenshot.
fails to impress me by its degeneracy. Unfortunately, it's always been like this. However, it wasn't until in the past few years it stooped to its lowest point. Now, before I mention any people in this video, please do not go out of your way to harass anyone. While some of the topics I mention in this video may cause anger, disgust, or some other emotional feeling, that does not give you the right to act immature. The point of this video is to expose the truth and state the facts of this community in a professional and mature manner. I do not condone nor support any witch hunt or harassment. And to reiterate, please do not harass anyone mentioned in the video.
I think that's a very, very good thing, and that's why I let that play out there. Yeah, this seems to be a very heavy video, so I'm not going to be cracking as many jokes as I usually would, unless something particularly funny comes up. But I think this is going to be a very heavy video, and I think that this is a good thing to, you know, kind of drill into your head if you're watching this from, you know, from my channel, or you're watching it from his channel. Just, it still stays true. Don't do that. Even that's just a fucking rule you should have, regardless of anything. Like, you know, if somebody comes up, or there's a, you know, problematic figure that comes up in the community or whatever, you just don't be an arsehole. Do you know what I mean? Like, if they fucked up, they fucked up, and you can hold them accountable for that, but it doesn't give you the right to be a knob.
Suspicious records. On January 12th, 2022, Furrican Walk would post a tweet saying he got a new world record on a map called Ascension by reaching
no fucking way that this guy's a cheater. I remember watching this guy, not very, like, you know, religiously, but I remember watching for it. I think it was something to do with resets. I remember. I think it was on Kino, I want to say. Might be wrong though.
Around 244.
I'll be surprised.
This was an incredible achievement, as Furret had achieved a record 2 rounds higher than what was thought to be theoretically possible. However, some players were a bit skeptical of this game, one of them being a player named Oxygen for the win. Shortly after Furret's tweet, Oxygen would post an image of him calculating the probability of Furret's Thundergun luck, which was calculated to be 1.3%. This raised some questions.
I actually got a mathematician to do this. My name is Dream.
As the Thundergun is the most important weapon on Ascension and allows players to push a map into the 200s.
And that is because it has infinite damage, ladies and gentlemen. One of my favorite wonder weapons for that reason.
Furret was quick to dismiss this probability, claiming that he played Ascension for 4 months straight, and during those 4 months played 2,500 hours. Moreover, he would claim that he doesn't see players checking the probability of an old game he played on a different map called Noctur and Toten. He would then continue by showing the probability of that Noct game as a way to disprove Oxygen. Then, he would finally show his own statistics of his Ascension game, claiming that the probability of him getting those Thundergun trades was a 28% chance. However, that was with Teddy Bear box hits, which do not count as box hits since it's impossible to get a Thundergun or any weapon from the mystery box when you get a Teddy Bear.
Truth. That is just true. One of the things that's like really... This is the first time I think I've seen somebody be exposed for cheating. If they have, you know, it's still unfolding. But this is the first time I've seen this happen on Twitter. I've never seen this before. This is cool.
This prompted him to remove the Teddy Bear hits from...
Because sorry to butt in again, but in the last video where we watched where they were discussing just like, you know, cheaters, normal style. This was like years ago and stuff, and it was just like, oh, it happened on a live stream. Oh, you know, fucking... you know, something slipped up in a video or whatever. No, this is modern stuff, and I think that's quite cool.
From his calculation, which resulted in a 10.7% chance of him achieving a Thundergun trade average in his game. This understandably removed any suspicion of his Ascension game. At least, It was supposed to remove any suspicion. Nearly a year and a half later, me and another player named Mr. Waffler would rediscover Oxygen's and Ferret's
Say that again, but slower.
probability tweets. When we saw varying probabilities between the two, we decided to launch our own investigation. However, before we could investigate these games, we had to lay down a foundation. Because we were doing statistical probability, we had to make sure this investigation was as accurate as possible. This made us come to the conclusion that we would need to do a statistical analysis of the top 3 highest rounds.
I took statistics in year 10. Just thought I'd point that out.
That were achieved on Ascension. This was exceptionally important as these 3 rounds would be achieved by different players and would gather the most accurate results, as they were also
There was 4 people in that class. It was like it was shambles.
similar in length and were expected to have a similar amount of box hits and Thundergun trades compared to Ferret. However, unlike Oxygen and Ferret, we would track the traits of 2 other weapons named Gershes and Dolls. Similar to the Thundergun, these equally had
That's actually Matryoshka doll to you. You don't know it like that?
a big impact, as a Gersh would kill zombies on any round and could give extremely useful drops, such as a max ammo. This drop would refill all the ammo in your weapons, such as a Thundergun, which could save you a significant amount of time, as you'd prevent yourself from doing a Thundergun trade. Moreover, dolls were required to get more Gershes if you did not get a max ammo. This is why tracking these
Whoa, I forgot how powerful the Matryoshkas actually are. Jesus.
weapons were exceptionally important to finding a true and accurate probability of all these games. Although, there is one problem. On top of analyzing the 3 highest rounds, we'd have to analyze all of Ferret's Ascension games that reached the reset. The reason for this is to increase accuracy. You see, in the 3 highest rounds each player hit the reset. Similar could be said for Ferret. He had 3 Ascension games that reached a reset. So, what is a reset and why is it so important? Well, each map has a specific amount of playtime before the game resets a player back to round 1. On Ascension, that playtime is about 70 hours.
That is such... I know why this happens, and I think he might explain, so I'm not going to go too in-depth into it. But a Zombies map resets when there's a certain number of entities reached that goes over, I think it's the 32-bit integer limit, and it's somewhere in, it's like 1096 billion or some shit. It might be the 64-bit integer, I don't know, but that is just insane that it literally, they thought of like everything, like fail-safe wise, to, you know, just chuck you back into the game from the start. But I don't know, I've never experienced a reset. I've never been able to get up that high. I think it might be kind of cool to do high rounds at some point on the channel, because I kind of just go for Easter eggs, but I thought I'd share my knowledge there.
Since each player resets at a similar time, this allowed us to gather good comparisons for Ferret's 244 record, as well as his other 2 Ascension games that reached a reset. However, this proved to be insanely time-consuming. After all, trying to analyze 6 high-round games that lasted 70 hours and had thousands of box hits and trades could take months until they were fully analyzed. This caused us to add a few more players to the investigation, most notably being Zato, which helped us analyze some of these games and also helped with calculating the statistical probability of the games. Although a 1-player addition wasn't enough. Because we really wanted to make sure our statistics were as accurate as possible,
we got Roman W in to do it because he took statistics in year 10.
We eventually added 2 more players named Ace Red and II, which specifically focused on the statistics of these games once they were fully analyzed. On top of that, I and Mr. Waffler would put our own effort into the investigation. Waffler would do an analysis of a few games and look for any discrepancies that could have been said by Ferret or any of the players we were analyzing. As for me, I prioritized analyzing the games as well as helping out with the statistics collection. This quickly became the biggest investigation in Zombies history, and it wasn't long before we fully completed the analysis of these games. By tracking the trade average of the 3 weapons independently, as well as removing the teddy bear hits from the games, we were able to find the trade average probabilities by using the binomial distribution. This allowed us
I actually know of this, but I can't remember how it works.
to multiply the probability of each weapon's trade average to find the percentage of such a game occurring. Keep in mind, insta-round luck was not factored in. This is just reflecting the percentage luck of trades. Here is a graph showing the percentage and probability of the 3 highest rounds achieved on Ascension by different players. The game with the most average luck is Mercury's round 234 game, which had a 36% chance of occurring, or a nearly 1 in 3 probability. As for Zomba's 233 game, it had a 1.4% chance of occurring, or a nearly 1 in 68 probability. A little lucky, but still very possible. As for Nestor's 233 game, his results were very similar to Zomba's. Nestor's game had a 1 in 67 probability of occurring. Once again, a little lucky, but still possible. So where does Ferret's 244 game land? Is it here? Maybe here? Nope. Ferret's game is all the way over here. So what's the chance of Ferret's Thundergun, Gersh, and Dahl trade average in his 244 game? Well, the percentage of these 3 trade averages combined is 0.000669%, or a 1.
Lol. Yeah. You like I feel like you're going up against like Mahatma Gandhi every time you try to cheat a record in the zombies community, because these fellas know their math, bro. Like you that is like when you look at that fucking graph, look at that. 1 in 149,000. What the fuck?
149,458 chance of such a game to occur. This begs the question, how much time restarting would it take to get this box luck? Mind you, this is only considering box luck. It does not factor the instas luck in this game, which wasn't perfect, but still great considering the bulk of his missed insta rounds, 4 out of 7, were before round 200, meaning he only missed 3 instas after 200. If he missed more insta rounds than that, it would have required him to get more Thunderguns and less box hits and get even luckier. In this case, his extremely good trade luck negated the downsides of his insta luck, which still wasn't that bad. This caused me to come up with the calculation to figure out just how long it would take to even have a 10% chance of getting just Ferret's 244 trade luck. First, I did 149,458 times 0.10 to give me 14,945.8, which is 10% of the odds that would be required for such a game to occur. Then, I would multiply 14,945.8 times the total amount of box.
Right, okay. I feel like I'm back in school.
Hits he got in his 244 game, which is 2,725. This would then give me 40,727,305 box hits, which is once again the total amount of box hits he would need to do just to have a 10% chance of getting his 244 trade luck. Once I figured out this number, I would then try and find how long it would take to hit the mystery box.
10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
Grab a weapon, and hit it again, which turned out to be 7 seconds. You could then multiply 7 by 40,727,305, which gives us 285,091,135 seconds. You can then divide this by 60 to get the minutes, which is about 4,750,000.
It's a long time.
1,519 minutes. You can then divide this by 60 again to get the total.
Yeah, you cheated, bro.
Amount of hours, which is about 79,192 hours. To find the amount of days, you can divide the amount of hours by 24, which gives us about 3,300 days. And once again, you can divide this by 365 to find the amount of years, which is 9. So,
I send it due to 9 years of hitting the mystery box for the Thunder Gun.
for it to have just a 10% chance of achieving his 244 trade luck, he would need to hit the mystery box non-stop for over 9 years. What's interesting is Furret claimed to have played 2,500 hours of Ascension, and 2,500 hours is only 3.157% of the way to 9 years. And to reiterate, 9 years is the minimum amount of time required to only have a 10% chance of getting his 244 trade luck. If we want to be more realistic, a 50% chance of Furret achieving his 244 trade luck would require him to play 45.2 years.
Bro, that's like half the average human life expectancy.
Once again, Furret claimed to have only played 2,500 hours to get this game, which is only 0.6314% of the way to 45.2 years, which is the minimum
He's smiling. You can hear him smiling.
amount of time required to even have a 50% chance of getting his trade luck. Once again, this does not include the missed insta-kill round luck. However, there is just one problem with Furret's playtime. He claimed to have played 2,500 hours of Ascension.
Oh my god, did you see that?
In just 4 months, which is an incredible amount of playtime in such a short period. This made us wonder how important hour count is for justifying games. Simply put, everyone's playtime is skewed. It's unavoidable because Steam playtime means only Black Ops 1 was open. Playtime includes hours when the game was paused, hours when the player was strat testing, and time when the player isn't even loaded into a map. Sorry to be the bearer.
How many fucking hours do I have on... Hang on. Black Ops 3... That's very low. My Zombies account. Yeah, 561 hours on BO3. I can't even see it for these. What about Infinite Warfare for like 50 hours? I mean, like, yeah, I mean, if I've made... How many videos am I made? Like, nearly 300? If I've made nearly 300 videos on, not purely Black Ops 3, but it's the majority of them, it just kind of goes to show, man.
Error of bad news, but playtime is even less reliable. You see, there are many simple methods to idly fake playtime by using free online tools like Steam Achievement Manager and sites like freehourboost.com. You can also trick Steam into thinking Black Ops 1 is a CMD command, so it says you're running the game, thus farming hours. The best way to prove your playtime is simply to stream. That way, viewers can know which round ranges of time was spent playing, and it would show how many hours went towards one achievement instead of saying something vague like Steam's overall playtime. Unfortunately, we'll never know these things as Furret rarely streamed any of these hours he claimed. Even if we were to assume every single one of those hours he played on Black Ops 1 were played attempting the Ascension 244, and he was just hitting the mystery box, that would be only 5.051% of...
What is it with zombies, like, fucking speedrunners and just wanting to LARP? Like, I swear to God, what, 19,000 hours on B1 isn't something to brag about. Like, I know people are dedicated to the craft, don't get me wrong, and it would look kind of cool on my Steam profile, but fuck me, anybody who was looking at my profile would think I'm so unemployed.
The way to 45.2 years, which, as you know, is the minimum amount of time required to have a 50% chance of getting his 244 trade luck. To put it bluntly, playtime is not a good way of legitimizing a game. So we decided to look into the game some more, and that's when we realized the game had no audio. So why is audio important? Well, having audio helps rule out the use of patches, splicing, and using save states through the game's config. This is what we publicly currently know on how to detect cheat methods through sound.
Save states? Eh? Wait, save states in BO. What the fuck? I didn't even know they existed.
Sound. So, if they don't have sound, it automatically raises suspicion of the game, especially if none of the rounds have sound. You see, depending on the patch a person uses or modifies, it can repeat sounds such as a door opening.
Oh.
This does not happen on the vanilla patch of the game, so it's super easy to detect if that person has audio discrepancies in their game. Because Furret had no audio and never streamed his game live, this made us even more suspicious. So, is this the only high round game that has no audio? Nope. Another player named Umesco tried passing off a 5-round 244 game as legitimate when it also did not have sound and was not streamed. Furthermore, Umesco's 244 wasn't approved because it was played on a patch, but without audio on the Ascension game, it's impossible to tell through sound cues if a patch was used. Where things get more complicated is patches can be configured to be completely stealth, and that's where discrete math and statistical analysis comes into play. This caused a random YouTube commenter named K. Evans to ask why Furret had no audio in his game. Furret then replied, was listening to copyrighted songs and didn't want to struggle with YouTube's copyright system.
That's bollocks. That is complete and utter bollocks. If they wanted to monetize the video, yeah, fair enough. But even then, every fucking YouTuber under the sun knows to separate your audio tracks. So it's like, you can have copyrighted music, but then you could just have your OBS recording your game, and then your game audio, and then your mic on 2 separate tracks. You could completely eliminate the fucking music that you're listening to if you just don't include it in your audio tracks.
On paper,
it's bullshit, man.
This sounds like a completely fair point. If you play enough copyrighted music on your videos, it could be blocked in many different countries, making the footage completely unviewable.
Cool.
However,
Holy
I had my doubts about Furret's answer, because this is one of the only records where he doesn't have audio. Moreover, it's been incredibly easy to separate music audio from game audio as late as 2019. Even if nothing nefarious is going on, it's still strange that Furret can attempt such great achievements and not care to legitimize them through having sound, streaming.
Christ, you really do need to stop and appreciate OBS, because it's like, bro, I remember when I was like fucking 6, 7, 8 years old. I remember, getting my first capture card. I think it was an Elgato HD60. Plugging that shit in my laptop. My laptop could barely keep up with it. But it's like now I just have a PC and then OBS does everything for me. Like, it's fucking unreal. And even like source audio capture. That's been a new thing for a while on OBS. And it just works great. I don't know. Just fucking... you gotta start appreciating the little things, man. Because, like, OBS is a really good bit of software. And I don't know why they don't charge for it.
Etc. I decided to look through a Discord where Furret is exceptionally active in. This Discord is called Bad IRL RNG and is owned by Zomba, a well-known Ascension player. While looking through the Discord, I managed to find a discussion back in 2022 between Furret and other members of the Discord, talking about Umesco, which had no audio in his 5 game. This eventually caused Furret to bring up his Ascension game, which led to him saying this. In his own words, Furret said, I should have recorded the sound on Ascension. Furret went from not recording audio at all during his Ascension game to he had audio but was playing music, so he completely removed audio to avoid YouTube's copyright system. To add on top of that, back in 2019 and 2020, Furret would achieve 2 games on Ascension, one of them being round 232 and the other being round 240. Both of these games were significantly less luckier than his 244 game, but his 240 record was still luckier than the 3 Ascension games we analyzed. Moreover, Furret missed only 5 insta-kill rounds in his 240 game, one of which was on round 239, making round 240 possible. For whatever reason, Furret is consistently luckier than everyone else by a significant amount. Unfortunately, this isn't the end for Furret. In fact, this is just a start. Because Furret's 244 game was played off stream, had unbelievable luck, had no audio, and had varying answers as to why he had no audio, it caused me to dive deeper into the rabbit hole.
How much more bullshit did this guy have to fucking go into, man?
Another record.
Like, this guy's guilty as charged. There's no way he just turns around and says, like, oh yeah, no, but it was all fucking proven that it was real. Yeah, no, this guy's a fucking cheater.
Where players had some suspicions was Furret's round 222 moon game. So, similar to Ascension, I analyzed the top 3 highest rounds with full gameplay. However, before I explain the statistical probability of these games, there's a few key weapons that you need to know about. First is the wave gun. The wave gun is similar to the thunder gun. It has the same ammo, kills the same amount of zombies, etc. This makes it the most important weapon on the map. Although,
I've always fucking hated the thunder gun. If I'm being completely not the thunder gun, the wave gun. I've always fucking hated it, to be honest with you. It's sort of that, but the zap guns in particular are really annoying. They only kill one zombie at a time, but the wave gun's decent. It just doesn't have a lot of ammo. I don't know. I always found them fucking clunky. I think they're annoying. I don't know why I felt I needed to bring
there are
that up,
still
but, you know.
2 more that play a key component to getting high rounds. The second most important weapon is Gershes. I already explained what they are, but on Moon they are significantly more important as you can make any drop into a max ammo by using the hack.
I always forget how much shit you can do with a hacker. This is something that I always neglect in my runs when I'm doing, like, you know, Easter eggs or whatever. I can just spawn in a max ammo.
Device. Lastly, a weapon equally as important is the QED device.
Fuck these things, man. I have a clip on Twitter for this. Oh my god.
My little fucking dainty hand, and away it goes. Please take them over there.
Similar to dolls, if you can't get any more max ammos and you need new Gershes, you're required to get QEDs out of the mystery box. However, QEDs can kill zombies on any round, give you drops, give you a 5th perk, etc. The weapon is heavily based around RNG, but is still one of the 3 key weapons to getting high rounds on Moon. Because these weapons are so important, we once again found the trade averages for all of them in each game before multiplying them to find the overall probability of getting those trade averages. The game with the most average luck was Slayer's 210 Moon game. This game had a 13.
I can actually see the red and purple lines on that purple bar, like on either side of it. That's fucking weird.
% chance of occurring, or a 1 in 7 probability. As for Gyro's 211 Moon game, the same can't be
Fucking Gyro
said. This game had a 0.527% chance of occurring, or a 1 in 189 probability. Very lucky, but still probable. However, there is one game where it raised some eyebrows, and that game is ZRFM's Round 208 Moon game, which had a 0.1033% chance of occurring, or a 1 in 967 probability.
It's abnormal, but it is somewhat possible if you, like, you know, if all the stars aligned and the solar flare flipped a bit in the N64, do you know what I mean?
This is a little suspicious. However, it's still technically possible to achieve this luck. So, where does Furret's 222 Moon game land? Is it here? Or here? Nope. Once again, Furret's game is all the way over here. So, how lucky was Furret's game? Well, the chance of him getting his wave gun, Gersh, and QED trade averages is 0.007067%.
It's fucking haunting me, man.
Or a 1 in 14,150 chance. Once again, Furret is incredibly luckier than everyone else. So I checked to see if there were any discrepancies in his game.
This guy needs to put on some fucking lottery numbers, man. Like, you know, if he looks this good, you know what I mean, man? Just put some lottery numbers on. You know, you're clearly just clearly the luckiest dude ever, dude.
Unfortunately, I could not find many, but the main one surprised me the most, and this discrepancy involves a program called Tim. Tim is a program created by Magic Benny and makes Zombies a more enjoyable experience for players by giving them the option to have an in-game timer, an automatic trap timer, claymore counter, Twitch integration, etc. Tim is an interesting subject. Many times now, a small group of players have tried to outright ban the tool, despite the community repeatedly voting for it in majority favor. And it just so happens, Fur is one of those players who want it banned and considers it illegitimate, going as far as saying that no one can deny Tim makes your run tool assisted, and anyone who uses Tim does not have enough brain cells to push records.
The ego, man. Fuck it, like, oh, I can see where this is going.
So much so that you are unable to think at all.
Apologies.
Well, when I looked through Furret's 222 Moon game, I managed to find this. So, in Furret's own words, he unintentionally admitted his game was tool assisted, and he did not use his brain at all to get the record. To add on top of that, back in December 2023, Furret would play a Moon game that got to round 218. This caused me to analyze this game, which turned out to be a 2.6% chance of occurring. This luck is obviously possible to achieve, but this begs the question: how come Furret is consistently getting games near 1% or lower? This caused me to check his previous Moon World record, which is round 213, played back in 2018, to see what his statistical odds were. Although, there was one problem. Furret was missing rounds 1 through 92, the most crucial rounds of a record. What's interesting is this isn't the first time Furret has attempted to claim a record with sloppy gameplay standards. Throughout the years he's been playing Zombies, Furret has consistently posted under players' accomplishments, claiming to have a faster time and saying he's quote-unquote sorry for not posting it.
Bro, what? Yeah, you know, oh, my door just flew open. Crisis averted. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, fucking yeah. So Usain Bolt, mate. Yeah. So I actually got a faster time than you in the Olympics, but I wasn't there, and I also didn't record it. So sorry, bro. But I am faster than you. Sorry, bro. Like, fuck off.
But for some reason, he never posts gameplay of that time he claimed to have gotten. What's even more interesting is Furret has posted screenshots of him claiming to get a specific time on a map, but once again, never posts gameplay. And what's crazier is even as late as 2023, Furret still does this. To add on top of that, Furret has said he has plenty of speedruns he didn't submit, and that he doesn't care to submit them. Again, to care about these achievements so much.
Why are you speedrunning then if you don't care about that is fucking stupid. Bro, this video has like single-handedly changed my opinion of this guy in like fucking 23 minutes.
And put no effort into legitimizing them is suspicious. Unfortunately, Furret isn't the only person who does this. Sluya and Furret have both butted heads with just about everybody because of their tendency to claim records without footage. However, when Waffler looked at the Dory solo section of the info spreadsheet, he noticed something was a bit off. The data for the Wonderwaff trades shown next to Sluya's dog rounds actually belonged to a player named Fleur. This made Waffler curious about the reality of Sluya's trades, so he counted them on his own to find the odds. Even though 30 rounds of gameplay are missing from the 250, not all of those rounds were trade heavy.
That's still got approved? What the fuck?
And Waffler thinks the 65% odds for the observable trades is probably accurate. However, this one curiosity led to another when he noticed there's a unique pattern to Sluya's gameplay discrepancies. Sluya tends to miss footage of rounds from 150 to the start of instas most often. This is the case for his Keynote 235, missing rounds 1 through 163, which he promised to restream, as well as his Keynote 240, which was missing rounds 152 through 165, including more. and his Doris 250, which is missing 100.
Yeah, it's also no coincidence that they both use like Pokemon things in the bottom right. They're definitely like off screen. They're definitely like talking and being like, well, if you just do this and do that, yeah, whatever, man.
In 56 through 165, including more. Since Leo's games are played on stream and always has audio, that makes him less suspicious than Furret. But since he exhibits a pattern of gameplay discrepancies and can be seen claiming speedrun records without footage to this day, is odd, because it is a clear lack of effort to legitimate the achievements he cares about. Waffler had to ask Sluya why Fleur's trades were in the info spreadsheet. In Waffler's own words, he asked, "Is there any information on the trades of this game?" I went to the Doris solo page from infos, and I saw Fleur's 246 trade information put next to your 250 games times by mistake. Sluya would then reply by saying, "I didn't track them one by one, and that's why I put Fleur's trades for comparison, but my trade average was 20. That's all I tracked at the time." He would then further reiterate by saying, "I just counted the box hits and the amount of trades during that game. Didn't write the amount, but my average was 20 as I said." The 20 average is really close to the number that Waffler observed, but keeping Fleur's trades there even after explaining they weren't his is inaccurate. Hell, this shouldn't even be on a spreadsheet called infos. If anything, it should be renamed as misinfos, because that's exactly what it is. Sluya didn't make it obvious on the sheet that the trades belong to Fleur. To add on top of that, the spreadsheet as a whole is filled with inaccuracies. Furret's trades on his 244 game includes teddy bear hits in his trade average. Moreover, it does not include fire sale hits, which do count as actual box hits. Moreover, the amount of box hits in his game is 2,700.
Fucking hell. And I get pissy over the fact that I don't get Thundergun within an hour.
25, not 2,650. The amount of Thunder Guns he got from trades was 143, not 140, and his Thunder Gun trade average was 16.55, not 18.84. Whether this information was intentional or not is up for debate, but there's no denying they have purposely misinformed community members about the stats of their games.
Yeah, and that in and of itself is just sketchy.
Together with all the other factors, this raises many questions about the legitimacy of their games. But the cheating problem isn't just mathematical, it's widespread within the community. Known cheaters.
Here we go. This is... right, okay, so if you want my verdict, as in like the Roman W stamp of approval, I don't buy a fucking second of what Ferret was saying about his run, and his mate, who uses the same Pokemon thing or whatever, also has a very suspicious run. And it, you know, with everything that Krups is saying, it's kind of looking, you know, you kind of maybe did cheat, or you're just being really stupid. I want to try and give them the benefit of the doubt, because it might just be like inaccurate data on that last one, but it might just be straight up wrapped, I won't lie.
Irem was a very interesting player. He effectively started out as a meme. Everyone would stop what they were doing when he went live to watch him rage and complain about RNG. This reputation earned him entire compilation films made in his name by a player named Bagsy. In the following years, he seemed to have pivoted to becoming a fast player, making for entertaining streams with the chance of world records occurring, and finally, he gained respect from high-status zombie players. However, on February 27th, 2022, Firem would attempt to fake an Ascension game by manipulating his RNG using a stealth patch. However, something unexpected happened. While holding a Thunder Gun and hitting the box to trade it out, he would get another Thunder Gun. The reason this proves he was
you fucking idiot.
cheating is because it's impossible to get a Thunder Gun from the box while holding one. This forced Firem to write up an apology on Twitter, saying how there was no excuse for him cheating and how he was sorry for what he did. Although, there was just one problem. Similar to all cheaters who come clean, he only admitted to this game being cheated, going as far as saying this will never happen again, and it's the first time he demonstrated this behavior. However, that's what FireEm wanted everyone to believe. You see, there is one more thing FireEm was known for, and that was his round 100 speedrun on Ascension, which was the first ever sub 6 hour to round 100 on Black Ops 1. Because of this, a player named Oscar Otter would track FireEm's Thundergun trade average, which came out to be a 3.6 average. This, and his recent self-expose of using a stealth patch, was enough for Oscar to call FireEm a long-time cheater, although there was not a spreadsheet detailing his odds, so I went out of my way to do just that. Similar to all the Ascension
This is funny.
high round games, I figured out the probability of FireEm's Thundergun.
It's reminding me of this fucking reel I watched today, where I think it's there's a company that has a contract stipulation that if they can meet you at the top of Mount Everest, they will give you back like a penny or something for buying one of their products. And some guy actually did it, and he got the penny. It's like people do go to fucking extreme lengths if it's written in words or something's not been done before. And I think it's a very cool trait. I think Krups is a very cool person.
Gersh and Dahl trade averages before multiplying them to find the overall probability of his game. To say I was dumbfounded is a massive understatement, because when I calculated the odds of FireEm's 5 hour 58 Ascension 100 speedrun, it came out to be 0.000005927%, or a 1 in 16,871,000 chance of such a game to occur.
Are we dead ass? Are we for real?
What's incredible is FireEm was never banned despite admitting to cheating and also having
fucking way, bro. So, there's a fire alarm going off outside. Well, it's not for my building.
Astronomically lucky game. This caused me to theorize that there is a group of influential players, moderators, and zombie world record admins that effectively insulates players, allowing them to have special advantages if insulated. If a non-insulated player was caught cheating or claiming records without footage, game audio, etc., you can expect a more punishing reaction than if an influential player had done the same thing. And this leads me to the next player named Foxoms. Foxoms was a player who potentially wanted to feel the celebration of his achievements, but didn't want to put in the effort. The method he used to claim a round
Gotta put in the time and effort to get the reward, bro.
218 Doris game without footage was a montage, writing in the description that it would have been a very
What is it with cheaters and having fucking Pokemon on their like stream overlay? Like, what the fuck?
fast game if he did not error, which was another fake detail. He supplied the reader with fake trades and times data, missing a sub 6 time to round 100 by just 2 minutes. He also wrote that this game is proof of round 254 being possible on Doris. It was a fate game that poses a new frontier of progress for BO1, which some commenters believed. However, none of these details were widely understood until Curve first brought the Doris 218 to our attention. Although it wasn't until December 2021, Foxoms would finally privately admit to cheating, saying he was caught modding on Doris a few months ago, saying he admitted to it, and promised
What the fuck, bro?
he wouldn't do it again. He would then continue by saying, "I have full gameplay on my PC still, I think, unless I deleted it, cause it's 132 gigabytes or some shit." Then how come you didn't upload any footage of the previous records you claim to have reached? If storage is that big of an issue, just immediately upload the footage on YouTube, release it publicly, then delete the footage off your PC. It's not that hard. Then Foxoms would say,
Bro, I'm gonna be real. I'm not like discrediting anything or whatever, but I just want to share this tidbit of information. I fucking hate having to buy storage constantly for shit like that, like for recordings, and it's like it just doesn't get any fucking cheaper, bro. This isn't even like me. I'm not saying anything against crops. It's a fucking gripe I have. I just hate how big things can get. It's really annoying. Like I just want to be able to sit down, record, and have to spend fucking hundreds on an SSD or something, especially the minute with fucking RAM prices. It's so annoying.
Irv just hates me because I modded a game on Reese, and now I live in his head rent-free. Yeah, he does hate you because you're constantly claiming records that are cheated. Maybe if you actually played these games legitimately and uploaded the footage, you wouldn't have people constantly on your ass about claiming illegitimate records. What's even more amazing is despite admitting he cheated a Doris game, Fox Zombies was not banned. Similar to
No fucking way. Bro, ZWR, what are we doing?
Him, he's free to post a record and not face any consequences because he's insulated. Unfortunately, this still isn't the end. Starting in 2022, a player named Unpulv, also known as Connor, would grind Ascension and slowly get better. However, in late 2022 to early 2023, Unpulv would progress absurdly fast, getting top 3 speedrun times for almost all the speedrun categories on Ascension. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't long before he got world records in all of the categories and continued to lower the times. Although unknown to Unpulv, Oscar and Waffler had a sustained interest in Unpulv's games since at least December 2022. They took note that Unpulv frequently covers the top right of the screen using the long outdated ZBC overlay. This is something FireEm used to do as well in his famous Ascension Round 100 world record with a 3.6 average from before. The reason why this was
It's mad because you wouldn't pay any attention to that usually.
suspicious is because of a thing called game mod. You see, when you launch a map using game mod, it'll show yellow text at the top right. This is exceptionally important as it shows if a player is potentially running a modified version of the game. Pause for a moment and take in this point. Discoveries are known in private before they are made in public. We don't know how long these cheat methods, ranging from somewhat stealth to being fully stealth, were known in private, and by which factions. This is why the top right area of the screen stays important, even though the stealth cheats may have been circulating at that time. Cheaters, once dead set on the goal of cheating, will do the best with what they have. Non-cheaters, however, don't have the same impulses as cheaters, so they can be made aware of cheats without it changing them. That's why the cheats are best shared publicly. Cheating technology is a problem that affects a community, and it can't be solved if the community isn't made aware of it. This caused Waffler to be suspicious, so he would hit up another player named Staris, who was interested in talking about anti-cheat methods. In fact, Starist was developing an anti-cheat. This quickly caused them to develop a lengthy conversation, talking about ways to detect cheaters, mainly discussing patching and the ways it could be detected. This eventually led them to discussing stealth patching. Stealth patching is exactly what it sounds. It's completely stealth. You can have game audio and not worry about sound bugs or additional menu options that appear when using game mod. The only way you can detect a stealth patch is by statistical analysis or an anti-cheat program.
That's fucking crazy. I just don't get the point, man. I really don't. Because it's one thing, you know, for like, you know, just the average video to, you know, maybe, I don't know, give yourself a fucking ray gun after, you know, you've gone down. But, you know, you're not going for a record, you're not doing whatever. But these are like official records. And sometimes these can catch a lot of attention, a lot of clout. And I think it's really lame that people just try to, you know, claim that. I think that's kind of cringe. But you know, it's because it's official. That's the problem I have with it. Really, it's like, you know, there's people genuinely putting their fucking like heart and souls into this, not just trying to, you know, make a video or whatever. And I don't know. It's just annoying, man.
Because Staris was one of the select few to have a stealth patch and test it, he thought it'd be a good idea to release it publicly, as it may help people understand how stealth patches work and increase the probability of cheaters being caught. However, Staris was told by Becca, the head of staff for ZWR, to not release a stealth patch, going as far as saying the less people that know how to stealth patch, the better. Waffler was a little disappointed by this, saying that making the community aware of cheating methods doesn't turn players into cheaters. Waffler would then send an image with 4 quadrants to get Star's opinion on how stealth patching currently affects the community and what the response should be. On the top left, it said people are currently stealth patching and players are made aware of it. On the top right, it said people aren't stealth patching and nobody is made aware of it. On the bottom left, it said nobody is stealth patching and people are made aware of it. And on the bottom right, nobody is stealth patching, nobody is made aware of it. Stars would then say it's either the first option or third option, which is top left and bottom left. This shows that despite Stars being told by Becca to not release a stealth patch, he wanted the community to be made aware of it in some way.
Which is good. It is good.
This resulted in him talking about a video being made about stealth patching, or possibly a way to display the stealth patch without it being downloaded by players. Waffler was actually okay with this, but wanted to be clear that if someone gets access to a stealth patch, Stars should express the importance that an anti-cheat would need to be the norm if we want to have a higher chance of detecting cheaters. After this,
I mean, yeah, like, one of the games that I have speedrun, like, recently, I guess, was Portal 2. And that uses something called SAW, I believe. And SAW automatically fucking flags up if there's something in your game files or if you've got no clip enabled or whatever. I don't know why that isn't a thing for zombies. If it already is, I'll shut up. But, like, that's not my mic there, sorry. But, yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from Portal 2, they seem to have a pretty good system. So, I don't know why Zombies doesn't have that.
Waffler and Starus would continue discussing stealth patches and anti-cheat methods, until Waffler asked Starus if it would be easy to patch drop rates such as max ammos, and have it be completely undetected. Starus would then say it'd be easy to do, but most players would be able to tell, so manipulating drop rates probably wouldn't be a good idea. Waffler would then hit back saying, still something I wouldn't put past cheaters. They expect you to not watch more than 2 rounds of gameplay before clicking off. This is entirely true. This is a case for pretty much all records, including first room records, which was Waffler's first point of interest in cheated games. This caused Waffler to question the legitimacy of Unpul's round 70 speedrun record on Ascension, as Unpul got 4 drops in just 1 Gersh, which is absurdly lucky considering these drops came from the power room of Ascension.
I didn't think that was possible. But again, a Pokemon, the bottom right, what the fuck? I didn't think that was possible. I thought it was 2 drops per round.
So, why is that important? Well, the zombies from the right side of the power room do not give you any drops. Instead of 24 zombies giving Unpulved drops, it was more like 16 zombies. On top of that, this wasn't a one-off instance. Unpulv was consistently getting incredible drop rates throughout the run. Stars would then say, I was in a call with Unpulv while he played this game. He didn't use any sort of stealth patch or cheat. Waffler immediately knew Stars was bullshitting because Stars was friends with Unpulv. Moreover, Unpulv was incredibly lucky during his game, and well, eyewitness testimony tends to not be a reliable source of evidence. Waffler then asked what Stars' favorite flavor of Skittles was, as a joke, showing that he no longer takes Stars seriously, before going back to talking about Unpulv. He would then bring up the ZBC overlay and how it can cover up the yellow text that shows up while using game mod. Stars would then say you can use an overlay to block the text and it'd be sus as fuck. Waffler would then ask if there would be a way to remove the yellow text, in which Stars responded, he doesn't know, but you probably could. Stars would then ask why all the videos Waffler is linking is Unpulv speedruns, and then asking if he thinks Unpulv cheated. Waffler said Unpulv is the only player actively using the overlay at the top right. He would then further say, you said it'd be sus, so I have every right to question Unpulv's drop RNG in his 70 speedrun. Waffler would then post the same 4-quadrant image, which Stars responded saying the bottom right seems the most likely, changing his answer to no one is stealth patching and no one should be made aware. Once again,
Guilty conscience.
Waffler knew he was bullshitting, so the conversation ended there. Surprisingly, after this conversation, Waffler managed to get direct access to a stealth patch Stars was talking about. A player by the name of Turbig was a part of a Discord with Stars and Unpulv, and also had access to the stealth patch. However, he wanted the stealth patch public, so he gave it to Waffler so he could analyze the code and see how much...
I just want to say that, like, this video is so unbelievably detailed, and I don't feel like I'm giving it enough justice right now, because it is, like, 10 to 3 in the morning. Genuinely. Like, this video has took months to make. Like, this is fucking nut.
Luckier the patch was compared to the vanilla version of Black Ops 1. This caused him to do a statistical analysis where he would see how many first boxes he would get after 100 trials with the patch and without a patch. If you don't know, getting a first box means getting a Thunder Gun, Ray Gun, and Gershes or dolls out of the first mystery.
I had one of these today, actually. I remember it was on Ascension. I was doing the pistol only run for BO1, and not an official run, it's just for a video, it's just an idea I had. And I got Gersh's first try after making a big monologue about how the box and Gershes don't really get along. It's fucking nuts.
Box. It's incredibly difficult to get, but removes fire sales from your drop cycle until the mystery box moves. This can save a significant amount of time for round 70 and 100 speedruns, as the chances of you getting a max ammo is increased. So, when he used the patch, it was no surprise that it increased his luck by a significant amount compared to the vanilla version of the game. In fact, the patch gave him 20 first box setups, whereas the vanilla version of the game only gave him 2 first box setups. This immediately resulted in Waffler making a video titled, "It's Bad But Necessary," where he exposes the stealth patch as well as Unpulv for cheating and Stars for assisting him. To add on top of that, Waffler decided to release the patch publicly, as it was exceptionally important to show players how a stealth patch works. Unfortunately, Waffler never did a statistical analysis on Unpulv's game, so while it was extremely obvious Unpulv cheated, it was important to give him the benefit of the doubt until we had some numbers. Fortunately, another player named Elvives who saw the video decided to analyze Unpulv's 70 and 100 speedrun drop luck, and let's just say the numbers were shocking. Based on Elvives' analysis, he figured out the chance of Unpulv's drop luck occurring in his game was a minimum 1 in 2 million chance.
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god.
This confirmed Waffler's suspicions. However, I still wasn't satisfied. You see, Unpulv livestreamed some Ascension restarts, which resulted in him getting
Pokemon again, bottom right, what the fuck?
The 50 speedrun record the day
Anybody who has a Pokemon in the bottom right needs to be fucking investigated, bro.
before Waffler's video. This made me want to analyze his box luck and see if the theories were true. Unfortunately for Unpulv, they were. During the restarts, Unpulv had managed to get 5 Thunder Guns and just 30 box hits, 2 Gershes.
What is that fucking perk lineup, bro? Quick Revive, fucking PhD Flopper, Mule Kick, and Speed Cola. No wonder this. No, you are fucking weird.
In 58 hits, and 4 ray guns in just...
It's like someone telling you they get fucking tuna and sweet corn on their meal deal sandwich. It's like, you need to be put on a fucking list, man.
8 hits. I was then able to find the probability of these averages, which led me to multiplying them. This resulted in a final probability of 1 in 230,422. This was starting to get ridiculous. Not only did Unpulv have insane box luck, but his drop luck was through the roof. Amazingly, this wasn't all the evidence we found. By sheer luck, I had managed to find a video where Unpulv was playing with a completely stealth patch. Back in 2022, Unpulv uploaded a video titled "The Most Legit Game" as a way to mock the luck he got in his game. So, once again, I did another analysis, which caused me to find out this cheated game
Those perk shaders look fucking terrible.
was a 1 in 219,513 chance, which is very similar to the box luck he got during his 50 speedrun restarts. This right here should be enough evidence to convict Unpulv for cheating, But what's even more interesting is Unpulv wasn't the only person who had access to a stealth patch. Zomba also had access to a stealth patch roughly 2 months after Unpulv's most legit game. While searching through Zomba's highlights on Twitch, I managed to find a stream titled 100 Perfect, in which he used a completely stealth patch. Even though Zomba was transparent about using it, this begs the question, who is making these patches? Why are they being kept private? And for how long?
Oh, here we go.
The way it's being treated is a me but not thee approach. Influential players decided by themselves that they are responsible enough to know of cheats and never fake a game, but everyone else should have to deal with the uncertainty and the accusations that they are cheaters for using Tim, Trap, or Round Timers, or whichever flavor of the month is being used for provoking debate. Not to mention the friends that they insulate, Fire'em and Unpulv, have proven to be as irresponsible as one could get with access to the cheats. Perhaps Zomba and others made promises to people they rely on that they wouldn't share it publicly, but Waffler did not want that problem, so he was the first to release a stealth patch to everybody and bring full attention to the issue. So that means I should be done talking about Unpulv, right? Nope, this surprisingly is nothing compared to some of the stuff he's done. Harassment and doxxing.
Oh, this is going to be a heavy bit of the video. I'm going to log in.
On March 8th, 2023, Unpulv would send messages on Twitter to a player named Bullet Bill Bull, who has autism. Unpulv knew this, so he, for whatever reason, started harassing Bullet Bill Bull by making fun of him for having autism, saying Bullet should take his autism pills, saying he has Down syndrome, saying he should take his retard pills, as well as saying he should quit zombies and quit life.
Bro.
Moreover, he would say that Bullet is not loved and how no one likes him. And lastly, going as far as saying Bullet should die. Unfortunately, this is just a start. A few months later, Unpulv, along with his friend named Xerity, would dox Bullet Bill Bull by posting his full name and his state, along with other personal information in Twitch chats, as well as changing their stream titles to Bullet's name and state.
What the fuck?
This doxing would progress even further when a few more players decided to help Unpulv, most notably Cylinder and Staris, aka Evelyn, by posting Bullet's name and state in Twitch chats. However, they still were not done. Unpulv had managed to find out Bullet's mother's name.
Oh my fucking god.
And her Facebook account. This would further progress into not only Unpulv and his friends posting Bullet's name, but also his mother's full name in Twitch chats, as well as Discord servers. Moreover, Stars would claim to have messaged Bullet's mom on Facebook as a way to embarrass and make fun of Bullet. To add on top of that, Unpulv would impersonate Bullet Bill Bull in a zombie server called zombies.exe, which is owned by Void Rumble. So, what was the point of Unpulv impersonating Bullet? Well, he wanted to fake screenshots by making it look like Bullet was saying the N-word.
What the fuck, bro?
Even then, that was still not enough for Unpulv. Despite Bullet Bill Bull telling him to stop harassing and doxing him, Unpulv had managed to find Bullet's Instagram account and messaged him on there. Amazingly, despite it being nearly a year since...
How are you doing that shit with your public name there, bro? No, because, like, it's one thing, don't get me wrong, right? This is all fucked up. But, like, dog, how fucking stupid do you have to be to harass somebody like this and use your full legal fucking name there? This is, like, a crime. This is harassing somebody with their real information. This is fucked.
Unpulv first started harassing Bullet, he still has not stopped. To add on top of that, this isn't the only person Unpulv has harassed. Another player named Mystic, who is disabled, was called retarded by Unpulv. So, has there been any backlash because of Unpulv's actions? Nope. The only person to have ever publicly called out Unpulv for doxing is Mr. Waffler. Taking this point, the blatant cheating and harassment hurts competition and pushes players out of the community. These are serious problems and is rotting the community from within. So, besides Mr. Waffler,
All of this over some fucking zombies, by the way.
how have others dealt with it, such as the moderators of the main record website? Ignoring the problem. Shortly after Waffler's video and LV's analysis of Unpulv's game, I decided it was important to show Becca the evidence. Moreover, I would show her my extended analysis of Unpulv's games, which I found 5 games that had first box. I then asked her if she had already seen LV's analysis and if she watched Waffler's video in its entirety. She then responded yes to both of these questions. She would then say she doesn't believe good luck proved someone cheated, further stating that while she does believe Unpulv cheated, she didn't know if it was enough proof to slap him with a convicted cheater title and remove his records. To add on top of that, she said, I'm going to have a chat with people and see what's what though, because I want to make sure if he is outed as a cheater, it's done fairly. Then she would further explain, the reason why I say good luck doesn't prove someone cheated is due to multiple games that have been cheated but only got caught out for other reasons. For example, Prawley's Shadows of Evil Easter egg speedrun. He patched the gum cycle, so people had their suspicions that his games were too lucky, but nobody jumped at that because it's not enough proof. The reason he got caught is because he spliced and clearly sent the wrong patch, meaning he was hiding something, which then led to us finding out he patched his luck, so our suspicions were correct. On paper, this is a completely fair point, but then Becca would completely blunder this point by saying, everyone thought Furret cheated his Moon game, his Ascension game, because his luck is astronomical, but there's no proof.
I mean, the proof's kind of in the numbers, wasn't it? Like, the game's odds was like 1 in fucking... Was it like 1 in 192,000 or something? Yeah, man, like I'm not being funny. That's like, you know, a solar flare hitting your fucking house probably is a, like, it has a lower chance. Bro.
Actually, there is a lot of proof. In fact, there is so much proof that it's practically undeniable. Furret is consistently luckier than everyone else by an astronomical amount on almost every occasion. She would then reiterate, saying, I'm a big believer and you can't 100,000% prove someone cheated off of luck alone. Then how come you never banned Fire Him? He was caught attempting to cheat an Ascension game by modifying his luck, and was forced to admit it. You can't say you don't believe you can prove someone cheated off of luck alone, and then not ban them.
Luck is like one of the biggest factors in all of Call of Duty Zombies for how the game operates. It's like, you know, RNG and stuff, especially in Black Ops 1, which is the majority of these fucking runs that he's talking about. That is insane to me. That is fucking mental. That is just fucking, that is blatant arrogance.
Despite literally admitting to manipulating their odds. That's just called playing favorites. This immediately felt like a lost cause, but I wasn't going to give up. I would then reply to Becca saying, sure, but statistical probability is a very good indicator on seeing if someone manipulated their RNG. Obviously, it's not definitive proof, but it gets to the point where the question has to be asked. How lucky is too lucky? I've never seen anyone get as lucky as Unpulv. I would then hit back saying, because at the end of the day, barely anyone is splicing runs or doing any of the OG stuff. Most cheaters are more than likely using stealth patches, and the only way to catch them is via statistical probability, which is what's happening to Unpulv.
I mean, the only way that I could really see this being fixed, as in like people not using stealth patches, is that ZWR release a build of the game that you have to use, and there's some sort of checksum within there. There needs to be very closed source, all that shit. It's like an anti-cheat is what I'm trying to get at. Because that's fucking stupid. It's like, because even Portal 2 has a thing where it's like, oh, well, you've got a cheat enabled. I don't think I've seen that in Zombies, or people cover it up or whatever. There needs to... this is just a nightmare.
This would result into a short talk between each other until the conversation ended with her saying, all good man, I'll DM you later to talk about the Connor stuff. However, she didn't. So 5 days later, I would ask her if she ever looked into it. Well, over 2 months later, I still have not gotten a single response.
Jesus.
This slowly made me suspect Becca and Unpulv were friends with each other, which turned out to be true.
Bro.
On February 2nd, 2024, Becca would admit in the Zomba Discord that she and Connor were friends. This right here explains why Unpulv is still not banned, and also explains why he never faced any backlash for his consequences, because he is insulated. Even though Becca knew Unpulv doxed Bullet Bill Bull, as confirmed since she watched Waffler's video in its entirety, she simply did not care. As long as you are friends with Becca and other community members who are close with her, you will face absolutely no consequences. This makes me really question the community.
That's fucking disgusting.
These values.
Like genuinely, that's fucked. The ZWR is the go-to website for trustworthy records, or at least in my head it was before I watched this video. And now I've got to set for. I know how old is this video? 2 years ago. Definitely under new management by now, I hope. But really does make you think twice.
If it is one, since it rewards Unpulv and his friends' behavior. Also, how come every record is approved before being extensively reviewed? It makes no sense, and there is absolutely no excuse for it. Because of this, it creates prime conditions for cheating. Moreover, what's the cutoff point for convicting cheaters because they were too lucky? Is it 1 in 1,000? 1 in 100,000? 1 in 1 million? These are questions ZWR has repeatedly decided to avoid while pretending everything is fine. The rate that they make progress in gameplay standards and anti-cheating measures is incredibly slow, normally going with whatever their friends believe to be the best. Moreover, they are still afraid to confidently enforce full gameplay for records when the credibility system of trusting everybody based on friendship was showing its cracks in 2014. On the Paca Podcast grand finale,
Paca Podcast, that's a cool name.
You can hear I Rack him up stating,
I mean, if you don't have an Elgato or PVR at this point in time, like, what are you doing? It's fucking 2014.
Zombie World Record
It's fucking 2014, guys. Get with the times.
barely missed the 10-year deadline by starting to remove records without footage in 2022. This is lacking the context that Wings, the owner of ZWR, would sabotage the site from progressing in many ways, but finding instances where admins themselves stress the importance of gameplay and anti-cheat measures are few and far between. The point I'm trying to make is that if we want to catch cheaters, we need to adopt to modern ways of catching cheaters, even if that means it takes a month or two before a game is accepted or denied. So, how do we get moderators to do this? Well, you can get them to do an extended analysis of games. And if that doesn't work, then it's time to get new moderators. But there's just one problem. ZWR.GG, the main record website, has done this many different times, and the way the moderators moderate games has never changed. The way ZWR verifies games is based on a quota. They prioritize speed over delicacy. So, not only are the review standards, rules, anti-cheating measures, and installation prime conditions for cheating games, but the quickness of approving games makes it even less likely for cheaters to get caught.
It's one of them things where it's like, it'll just be to do with the amount of influx they have, and they probably don't have enough staff and time to deal with it, because I'm going to be real, I don't know how the inside of it works, like as in if they get paid or not, but if they don't, I can see why nobody's asked, because it's one of them things where it's just like, oh, we got like 1,000 fucking videos we got to do, well, this one's you probably fine, but the probably fine isn't good enough when you're deciding world records here.
At this point, it's time for a new website. Fortunately, there is one being created called Zombies Headquarters, although there is once again another problem. Becca founded and owns this new website.
Bro.
I'm sorry, but if the new site is owned by the same people, my expectations will remain low, and I'll expect it to be just as corrupt as ZWR. In fact, the Zombies competitive scene is so corrupt that moderators have attempted to make biased votes. On March 7th, 2023, Astrox, one of the moderators for ZWR, and also a close friend of Sluya, Becca, and Furret, would create a vote for a Black Ops 2 rule set. Although, despite Astrox saying he attempted to make the vote as clear and easy to understand, it was still really vague. You see, with most votes in Zombies, there's a specific requirement needed to be able to vote on a rule set. However, This description was insanely vague, so much so that even if you played Black Ops 2 and submitted a record, there was still a chance that your vote would not count. This caused Waffler to ask Astrox whose vote.
Well, honestly, if I'm gonna be Waffler's the fucking goat here. He's been one persistent character that just well person, not character. He's been the consistent like voice of reason. I think that's very cool. So shout out to him.
Vote counts. Astrox would then reply saying, only the players who got a top 5 game in one of the 3 categories, specifically no power, high round, or speedruns would have their vote count. So why is this corrupt? Well, it's the fact that Astrox is completely denying hundreds upon hundreds of votes. You see, each map for each category has about 20 minimum submissions. If you only accept the top 5 games for each map, you are denying over 75% of the community from voting. Keep in mind, this number is insanely generous. If we were to be more realistic, Astrox is denying more like 80 to 90% of the Black Ops
Jesus fuck.
2 community from being able to
How's nobody fucking shouted about this before now? I know this video is like 2 years old, but like fucking hell.
vote on their own game. Moreover, Astrox was only accepting submissions from 3 categories, one of which is a category he plays super often called No Power. Moreover, the decision for this vote to only be done this way is a result of corruption. It wasn't BO2 players heading the experiment of the voted rules for their game. It was a No Power player and a Black Ops 1 player. Currently, there's a debate between Black Ops 2 players on whether or not people should vote across maps and challenges, the way Astrox and Furret intended, which their attitude is that their vote should remain. Furthermore, sometimes
It's fucking bullshit. That's straight up bullshit.
it's Black Ops 1 players that are the most outraged about the outgoings of maps such as Mob, Origins, and things they don't play. If this doesn't scream corruption, then I'm not sure what will. Now, this vote was fortunately changed after some backlash to allow all players who submitted in these 3 categories to vote. But this begs the question, if Astrox, one of the moderators for Zombie World Records, originally planned on making a biased vote, were all the other votes made by Becca or his friends biased? It's tough to say. At the end of the day, this is speculation, but the possibility that some votes were purposely not accepted despite them meeting the requirements is very plausible.
It's fucking... fucking like US elections all over again, bro. Oh god, this is such a mind fuck, and I've been really trying to pay attention to it. And it's a very well laid out video, but oh my god, I didn't realize how deep rooted all this was. Like fuck me, I hope it's gotten better.
So, is this the end of voting
Corrupts, I'd love to see a follow up to this to see if anything has changed. I really would. I know you said you were done with zombies, but I really am curious.
corruption? Nope. Back in 2020, a new way of saving time in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 was found. This was called Fast Ray. This allowed players to shoot the ray gun significantly faster,
What the
which dealt
fuck?
an insane amount of damage to zombies in a very quick time.
I just know that CIA agent. I know that CIA agent has a really, really, really happy wife.
At first, players were super excited to utilize this time save, as it could revolutionize maps such as Town or Farm. However, Furret was super adamant about not allowing it, despite the choice being left up to the community. This caused him to use his influence to change people's opinions to get it banned, which amazingly
Ew.
worked. Not long after Fast Ray was found, many votes were created, and as time went on, a player's opinion on Fast Ray came down to which vote they respected more. This caused the players who were for Fast Ray to call out for it and say he was using his influence to manipulate votes to get Fast Ray banned.
Furret's a fucking dickhead.
Although,
In the nicest way possible. He sounds like an absolute arsehole.
Furret would brush off these claims, saying they were not true. This caused his friends, such as Zomba, to believe him. Hell, as late as 2023, Zomba, who was discussing with Becca about biased votes, would say this. Yeah, well, when Furret gave his opinion on fast firing and all the new info dropped, the cunts that wanted to keep
Whoa, how does he get away with saying that word but I don't? YouTube, please fix, that's fucked up.
it just said it was from his influence that caused people to change their vote. Who's to say some fucking bullshit like that will happen again if I or Furret did it? What Zomba got wrong is that sure, the people wanting to keep it were claiming foul play, but they weren't trying to rig things in their favor. They just wanted a more fair deciding process than what was given. Also, nobody was saying Furret shouldn't be able to convince people, which is a fair competition of influence. They were just upset that Furret included those who agreed with him in the vote and left out those who disagreed. Moreover, Zomba completely forgot that Furret admitted he was trying to reach to people to get fast rate banned.
I like how he's got receipts for literally everything. There is no getting past Krubs, bro.
While he was playing his Ascension 233 game. This right here is 100% proof that Furret was trying to manipulate a vote to go in his favor, and unfortunately, this probably wasn't the only time he's done this. The absurdity of power goes without saying. If you have the means and motive to override community opinion, you can do so without needing to justify yourself. This is echoed in Zomba's choice of words when discussing rules in a recent stream.
Do you ever think we'll get to a point in the zombies community where we'll all just agree on a set of rules and they won't change?
We're getting there. I think we're getting there. We're getting close. Large enough group can agree on anything. It's always biased. Always fucking will be. There's always biased cunts in this fucking community, man.
BO2, they banned auto trap timers. BO1, they allowed auto trap timers.
When was this? When the fuck was this?
A few months back.
Yeah,
That makes no fucking sense.
that for BO1. How the fuck? What? Who the fuck
yeah,
voted for this? Which
I don't
individual?
know.
Anyone in my chat, cough up. Who the fuck was it? You're gonna get fucking blasted. Fuck everyone in the chat that voted for fucking that trap timer. Gonna have a revote, and this time you're gonna pick the right fucking one.
This is all an effort to attempt banning Tim for the 5th time, when the community has
That's fucked.
repeatedly approved of the tool. After seeing this, it really made me question the legitimacy of some of the votes that were created for Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2. Because Furret was never transparent that he was trying to reach to people to get fast rate banned, and only admitted it publicly once, who can say what was going on behind the doors? When explaining why certain zombie players are insulated and given privileges, we focus on their level of influence. This is an under-exaggeration. For many players, their level of control goes beyond
The
just
fuck was the trap just attacking him there? I didn't even know it was a thing. I thought that was the only thing on BO... No, I know the traps were a thing on BO1, but I didn't know it was a thing on BO1 that they could hurt you. The fuck?
a matter of influencing, and more so resembles a form of dictating.
Oh, this
It's
guy's
not
on
about them
insta-kill
tipping
round
the
and a half.
scales one way or another. It is their ability to dictate how things must happen, no matter how absurd. When voting experiments were first happening, those with influence said it was too technologically difficult to figure out. When the community showed them to be wrong, the influential players moved towards a new point of conflict about whose vote should count. Those are legitimate questions to be taken seriously, but do note that while others were trying to cooperate, influential players wanted nothing to do with it unless they had full control.
So fucking that is evil. That is fucking evil. They're only going to use their influence when they want full power over it and pulling the strings. That is fucked. That is awful.
Whose vote should count? The answer is debatable, but whatever the answer is, it should be clear and unbiased, right? It would be fair if players could know exactly what they must do before being owed a buy-in to vote, which affects leaderboards. People with influence have echoed that they aren't just world record holders, saying they are quote-unquote high level. High level sounds like it references a quantifiable metric, but in their sense of the word, it doesn't. In the following screenshot from 2022, Waffler is pressing for some coherency on when players are owed their buy-in, something Furret has historically avoided answering, to which Furret gives criteria that are based on his personal ratings of the player. He says it depends on their level of influence, relationship with other players, his perception of the player's skill level, knowledge, and quote-unquote brain. We don't know what he meant by brain. Then he projects his political views from the real world onto zombies, saying it proves his general sense that people are too dumb to be trusted. He might have the most influence out of any zombies player, which he should be able to use, but the position to dictate was completely self-appointed by him, and he is shown to be...
Yeah, so the point that he's trying to make is that the people with the most influence are using their platforms to generate votes that they believe in. It's like, you know, fucking... So a YouTuber says a game is bad, and then everybody else thinks the game is bad just because the YouTuber said it. It's creating unnecessary bias, and this is one of the things that he's trying to say. And bias within a speedrunning community is fucking awful to deal with. It must be, because a lot of the, you know, runs and records rely on the fact that the people playing the game are being trustworthy, and the people who have influence and people that are known in the community can be trustworthy figures to... what's the word I'm looking for? To accurately, you know, give their 2 cents on whether or not something should be banned or something should be changed, or this runs this or this runs that. It's fucking awful. Like having bias within votes and stuff. It defeats the whole point of a democracy if that's, you know, the angle that they're going for. By democracy, I mean, like, you know, players are voting, players are fucking deciding what should be what. If everybody truly gets to say, why are people with more influence creating the most, you know, bias, if that makes sense. Like I might be explaining this a little bit, you know, wonkily, because it is 3:20 in the morning, but I really understand what he's trying to say here, because I can imagine how annoying that actually is.
Irresponsible in filling it. Frankly, it's tough to say if anyone could be in that position without eventually going mad. In every stage of Zombies history, there exists a small group that feels emboldened enough to begin dictating. Said group eventually fizzles out and gives rise to the next group, commencing a new set of values, and so on. The problem is that it doesn't take long for that group to realize they are unchecked and start acting in their own self-interest. This is why voting is a constant experiment, sometimes learning from itself through failure in attempt to get players what they want in the fairest manner. In January 2023, Fast Ray was finally voted on by the Black Ops 1 community at large, not just by quote-unquote high-level players, making it unallowed 9-49.
Nice. Well, that feels good. You know, I don't really know. I know what it is. I can see how it can be, you know, used, but it is kind of like overpowered as fuck. I wouldn't have personally allowed it if I had a say in it, but yeah, no, like it's nice to see that the community actually finally got a say in it, and, you know, ultimately decided whether or not it was allowed, because everybody who plays the game is part of the community, and to single people out is fucking vile. I think that's horrible.
Their greatest fear of Fast Ray being allowed turned out to be of their own making, misusing time and effort along the way by being unclear and choosing to debate non-stop. However, the same structure of power remains. Just because the high-level players approve of a tactic now, it doesn't mean they won't decide against it in the future and leave players out of the voting process based on their level of influence, relationship with other players, perceived skill level, knowledge, and most importantly, brain. And this brings me to my last and final point: lies and more harassment. Because a community has no morals and allows players to get away with anything, I decided to ban a bunch of zombie players in my Twitch chat starting in November of 2023, and one of these players was Furret. This caused him to get insanely frustrated because I no longer wanted to talk or interact with him. So, as a way to get back at me, he would start sharing out of context Discord messages to make it look like I steal content.
Bro.
Going as far as sharing these messages with other players and claiming I plagiarize videos. Because everyone looked up to Furret and never questioned what he was claiming, this caused everyone to automatically assume I steal and plagiarize content. However, what Furret was claiming was not true. While helping me with the Ascension World Record history, he would explain box cycles and how they work. Because I really liked his explanation of box cycles, I would ask if it would be okay if I copied the text he sent me and used it for my video, in which he responded yes. Furret purposely left out this information because he wanted me to look bad, and unfortunately for me, it worked. Furret would then abuse this opportunity to start shit-talking me on his stream and getting everyone against me.
That's disgusting, bro.
Although, it wasn't until December of 2023 when he finally used this to his full potential. While streaming, he would continue claiming I steal content and then continuing by making fun of me because I apparently talk slow and play slow.
Maybe I should just put a big fuck crops in like the biggest font possible when I'm reaching the last round before reset, you know? Just so he can't steal from people from people's content and make his own fucking content and then ban people. He literally makes content by talking slow over other people's videos. GG. I mean, he talks slow, he plays slow. What else?
Are we like fucking 12? Bro, what is going on, man? Like, oh, that is, ugh, you are a dickhead, mate.
After that, he would continue by making fun of my sexuality, as well as allowing his viewers to make fun of my sexuality.
Imagine being Krebs hitting the gym just to get fucked in the ass, like... The fuck?
This would further cause his viewers to claim I'm a zoophile, and also call me malnourished to make fun of my weight.
Oh my god.
And on top of that, he would encourage his viewers to put fuck crups all over their streams.
Yeah, maybe every world record from now on should put a giant fuck Krebs just so it doesn't steal content and then ban people, you know? Like every single world record holder should do that now.
This immediately resulted in his viewers doing just that, putting fuck crups across many different streams, and despite it being 2 months since he told his viewers to put fuck crups in live streams, they still continued to do it. To add on top of that, after he told his viewers to do that, it immediately resulted in some of his viewers creating accounts to make fun of me or harass me. And lastly, Furret said he wanted to falsely copyright claim my videos. Now, whether or not this is a joke is up for debate, but it still needs to be noted, as there is a possibility this video, or all of my videos, do get falsely copyrighted. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you don't like the Zombies community's morals and don't want to talk to certain players. You are forced to deal with reputational ruining lies and harassment from everyone, because for whatever reason, people are too interested in hearing one side, and only one side of the story.
Regardless of that, dog, I guarantee you some of these people are like nearly 30. They oh my god, bro, get a fucking job. Oh my, it's you know, it's one thing for me to say this, you know, sat reacting to this video. Do you know what I mean? But holy fucking shit, man, that is some of the most unemployed activity I've seen in my entire life. That is truly one of the most tragic things I've ever heard. I don't like this person because they have made valid points against me. I'm going to use my entire audience to witch hunt them and, you know, take the piss out of things that have nothing to do with the game that they're playing. It's personal matters that they're taking the piss out of. That's fucked up. That's fucked up. There's no need for it. There's absolutely no need for it. And to be honest with you, if I'm going to give any like 2 cents on this situation or the Zombies community as a whole, regardless of the speedrunning community, I've never been too hot on the Zombies community. I think that a lot of people just in the community are not nice people. I have stopped collaborating with people because of this. I have completely distanced myself from a lot of the community aspect apart from live streaming, which I haven't been able to do in a while. And I've had my fair share of people being weird with me. I've had people come in my YouTube chat and you know, because of my dialect in the way that I talk, it's very unique and it's very known to be, you know, close to the northeast of England. And people ask me, are you from this area? Are you from that area? Are you from this? And it's just like, mate, this is none of your concern where I live. It's fucking disgusting. Stop it. A lot of people build these parasocial relationships with content creators nowadays, and it's getting worse and worse. And this video was made 2 years ago. It is fucking vile that this stuff is still going on now because I've witnessed it myself. I am absolutely fucking sick of this, and it's vile. It's absolutely disgusting. I don't know, man. It is a very big problem in the Zombies community, but I'm also aware that this does happen in a lot of gaming communities. But in the Zombies community, I've had my fair share of weird experiences, and as much as I do love my corner of my community, a lot of the time I try to stay away from the majority. I don't really play the newer games. I kind of do my own thing. I don't really interact with a lot of creators. I just kind of stick to my own corner, and that's the best way I've found that keeps me the most sane, the most happy, and not you know, sticking to the age-old rule of what my mom told us and just fucking don't talk to strangers.
So, this begs the question, will anything be done about these issues? As much as it hurts to say, probably not. You see, because players face absolutely no consequences for their actions, nothing will change, even if there is backlash. And unfortunately, I can't think of any way to change the community for the better. The most I can do is call out these players' actions and behaviors. To put it bluntly, this is the most toxic gaming community I have ever seen, and if nothing changes, it'll remain that way until the end of time. Lastly, if you have time, I encourage you to check out all the analysis I showed in this video. After all, the more comparisons that are made, the more accurate the data. So I'll leave a link to every single spreadsheet, as well as every single record that was analyzed. Other than that, thanks for your time, and thank you for watching.
What a fucking video, man. And I'm actually glad I picked this one out to react to today, because I hope this video gets some reach, to be honest with you, because I want more people to see this. This video has, what, 300k views. Some of his videos, this should be the most viewed video on his channel, but it's just not. And I have no idea why. That was a fucking experience, to say the least. Like, genuinely, that was an amazing video, and it had some very, very, very heavy subjects in there. And I think because people can't agree with each other, that they resort to these fucking almost primal instincts of just tearing into each other, you know, through words and through doxing and through harassment. I think that's fucking awful. At the end of the day, these are video games. These are not real. None of the things that you are seeing on the screen are real. The people that you are interacting with do not know you. They do not interact with you in person. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to go check out this without me butting in and interrupting all the time, feel free to go check out Krups. He is a very, very, very good content creator, and I really enjoy his videos, and I really hope he makes a zombies video out of the blue sometime, because I really do miss these style of videos.